President Trump is not only refusing to concede to Joe Biden, he says he will send lawyers to courts across the nation tomorrow, claiming Democrats are trying to steal this election with widespread fraud. We're joined now by Republican Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, who says the president's rhetoric is dangerous. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks, Chris. Good to be with you.
I want to start with the president's comments about the election on Thursday night. Here he is.
We'll not allow the corruption to steal such an important election, or any election for that matter. And we can't allow anybody to silence our voters and manufacture results.
You say the president has every right to pursue his legal remedies, which of course he does, but that his rhetoric there and in a number of tweets has gone far over the line. How?
Well, I think it is appropriate for the president to make sure that the vote count has been done properly, to carry out recounts where it's a very close contest. If there are any irregularities alleged, to pursue those and to follow every legal option he has. That's what you'd expect of a president in a setting like this. At the same time, I think it's important to choose one's words carefully, because the eyes of our children are upon us. The eyes of the world are upon us. Every nation in the world is watching what the President of the United States says. And there's a battle going on around the world between authoritarianism and freedom. And it's important for the cause of democracy and freedom that we don't allege fraud and theft and so forth unless there's very clear evidence of that. And at this stage, that evidence hasn't been produced.
Here's part of a tweet that you wrote this week about President Trump and his rhetoric. I want to put it up on the screen. The president, is wrong to say that the election was rigged, corrupt, and stolen. Doing so damages the cause of freedom here and around the world, weakens the institutions that lie at the foundation of the republic, and recklessly inflames destructive and dangerous passions. Senator, does what the president is saying, does it interfere with the peaceful transfer of power, not just among our leaders, but just among regular Americans?
Well, I think there will be a peaceful transfer of power if there's a change in leadership. That happens in January. Until then, the transition team will be working with the Trump administration, and I think that will go smoothly. But I do believe that it's important for the American people to understand that we are a nation of laws, that we allow for recounts, that we investigate irregularities, and that these things go to the courts, and the courts make a fair and impartial decision. That's essential for our nation to have confidence in our institutions, and for people, as I've indicated, around the world to recognize that democracy works. Saying something other than that would only be cheer for the Chinese and the Russians and those that want to bring down freedom and bring down democracy. So pursue every legal avenue, and that's what the president will do. But I think it's important for all of us to hold our breath a bit, to calm down a bit, and not to use language that's so inflammatory that it will make people angry, and people that are not watching carefully feel that somehow something has been rigged. And there's simply no evidence of that at this stage, and we'll see whether there is down the road. But that's for time to tell.
A very few of your Republican colleagues have joined you in calling out the president's rhetoric. Here's Pat Toomey from the hotly contested state of Pennsylvania. Take a look.
The president's speech last night was very disturbing to me because he made very, very serious allegations without any evidence to support it.
But the vast majority of your Republican colleagues in the Senate have either backed up, supported the president's unsubstantiated allegations of fraud, people like Ted Cruz of Texas, or they have remained silent. Does that disappoint you?
Well, I think everybody makes their own assessment as to what their responsibility might be. Frankly, the eyes of history are on us, and I believe I have a little bit of a different role, having been the nominee of our party in 2012. I do feel a responsibility to express my views and to represent the small slice of the Republican Party, perhaps, that still supports me in that regard. And everybody makes that assessment. Pat Toomey, of course, is the Republican senator from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is at the center of controversy, so his remarks, I think, were well suited to the moment. So everybody makes that assessment, and I don't have a point of view on what other senators do. I think we each have to make our own decision based upon where we are. But look, I remember Richard Burr, senator from North Carolina, saying, you know, if I spoke out on everything that I disagreed with that the president tweets or says, that's how I spend all my time. And I think there are some who feel silence at this stage, particularly with so much uncertainty, is the right way to go.
I want to pick up on something that you just said, because you have been in the same situation back in 2012 that President Trump is in now. The networks called Barack Obama the winner in the 2012 election. You had a team of lawyers ready to fly out to various states. There are always irregularities in vote counting. You waited 90 minutes, and then you called President Obama and conceded victory to him. I guess two questions. One, why did you decide to go that course? And if you were in the situation now that Donald Trump is in, with widening gaps in Pennsylvania and Nevada and Georgia, would you concede?
Well, first of all, President Trump is a different person than I am. Every individual is different. I think one of the things people like about President Trump is that he is different than the typical politicians and people who've run for president before. He's going to keep on fighting. That's what you expect from President Trump. So he'll do what he's going to do. My setting was different. We looked at the vote totals. I met with my legal counsel. We talked about irregularities. It did not strike me that there was a realistic possibility of overturning the result that had been called by the networks. And frankly, there's something more important than myself and whether I win or lose an election, and that is the cause of democracy and freedom. And at some point, truth, freedom, and democracy have to ascend, and you step aside. And I'm convinced that will happen in this case as well, if and when every avenue is exhausted for the president. But time will tell in that regard. But let me tell you this as well. I think the assessment that somehow that conservatism lost is not accurate. Republicans picked up state houses. Republicans picked up seats in Congress. I think we're going to keep the Senate as well. Conservative principles are still on the ascendancy in this country. I don't think America wants to sign up for the Green New Deal or getting rid of coal and oil and gas or Medicare for all or Medicare for many, many more. I think America is intent on pursuing policies that are more consistent with the Republicans that they overwhelmingly elected.
Well, I want to pick up on that, and I've got only a minute here, Senator, about that. It does look more likely than not that Republicans are going to maintain control of the Senate. If they do, what is your attitude towards working with President Biden? How much deference do you feel that you will owe him in terms of his choosing the people in his cabinet and some of his policies, such as a public option for Obamacare or raising taxes or the environment?
Well, I don't think the national election, and I'll let the pundits make the final analysis on this, but I don't think it was so much a matter of signing up for a policy agenda and I think it was much more of a personality matter and character matter. And I don't think you expect elected officials to provide deference to others based upon their point of view, because we all got elected and we all have a responsibility. But there are places we'll be able to work together. Look, health care is a mess right now. Prescription drugs are too expensive. Surprise billing shouldn't be going on. We can make some changes there. Obamacare is not working. We're going to have to make some changes there. If there are flaws in the tax code that let billionaires pay no taxes, I think we have to look at that as well. The President-elect Biden has spoken about increasing the child tax credit. That's something I've been fighting for with Senator Mike Bennett as well. So I think you're going to see that there are a number of places that we have common ground. But look, conservatives like myself are going to continue to fight for conservative principles. And those things are not in the rearview mirror. President-elect Biden has an agenda. We'll work with him on that agenda. With regards to his cabinet, look, I believe that cabinet appointments, the president ought to be able to appoint his own cabinet unless they're really out to lunch.
Senator Romney, well, we don't ever want people who are out to lunch. Thank you, Senator. Thanks for your time this week, and always good to talk with you, sir.
Thanks so much, Chris. Good to be with you.